Alrighty, we're back with Grade A's Attorney. With probably the most complex case 1 in the franchise so far. We've got some new decisive evidence at the last possible second. Usually something they reserve for like a case 5 or sort of thing. Yet here we are, with it occurring right here in case 1. Say whatever you will about this game, it's keeping us on our toes right off the bat. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why the sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ha! A judicial assistant, and a woman no less. Oh. So not only is he racist, but he's also sexist. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yes, I fully understand. I asked only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ah! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency! I am most grateful. Oh, 3 people at the bench? The only other time that happened was at, like, the old Destinies. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something? Written in English. It's Giselle Brett's research. The Englishwoman's. After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does his research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Curé and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curé? What's that? I've never heard that word before. Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I'll summarize what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. A report detailing an unknown poison. He was researching. Goodbye then, and good luck. Let's take a look at this. Made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death even in minute doses. Only when it enters through a wound. So, could have application as anesthetic. Is this a real poison, by the way? I wonder if it's like actually known under a different name. It's definitely some kind of neurotoxin, right? Or like it's a receptor blocker, probably. I'm just curious, don't mind me. It was the first paralytic used in anesthesia. Oh! Wow, there's actual history behind this one. Paralyzing agent, yeah. Only becomes active when it contaminates a wound. So when it's ingested, it doesn't actually hurt then. Look at me, I'm being led down the rabbit hole right now. It's a muscle relaxant. Yeah, it's a receptor blocker. It is harmless if taken orally because Curé compounds are too large and highly charged to pass through the lining of the digestive tract to be absorbed into the blood. For this reason, people can safely eat curare poisoned prey and it has no effect on its flavor. Oh. That's interesting. That means if he was killed with this, it wasn't true ingestion. Huh. Interesting. This actually, yeah, this puts a completely different twist on everything. We're getting like completely new information here. You have had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... we literally just got a new piece, though. The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett. Yes, Your Excellency? If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid... it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Yes!
Ms. Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yume University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as curare. Actually, am I pronouncing it right? I've been dropping the second R, curare. Curare? Curare. Is that how you say it? Curare? 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 Wait, hang on. I literally just looked up at the Wikipedia article for it. There's probably pronunciation on there. Curare. Curare. Okay. There you go. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What? What complete and utter nonsense? Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct, which means no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Order, order, order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspirations are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other dinos would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? It's a muscle relaxant. Obviously I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. Yeah, because it paralyzes your heart. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. Yeah, neurotoxins are scary. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contained this terrifying poison?
Attention!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. If I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever. But you must be taught that... It is you who must be taught. Of course. Your lady! Honk. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another honest heart's work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Attention!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. Hahaha. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, honk. Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Oh, she's gonna drink it, isn't it? She's gonna drink it as if to prove that, oh, look, it can't be possibly poison, otherwise I would have dropped dead on the spot. But, as we just found out through our research, curare doesn't apply its effects, yeah. Why would the bottle be poison? Yeah. It's not an ingest, yeah, it's not a poison you ingest, it's a poison you need to have it, like, absorbed through the bloodstream. Through a wound. So she's probably gonna drink it, right? Either that or the bottle's not poison. You know, either way is possible. Yeah, I knew it. She's gonna drink it. Whole animation like this. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry? To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish court romantics. It's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers! Oh, they're actually hiding her eyes the whole time, like, literally right out of a painting. Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. You know, that is pretty conclusive proof, though. That at the least, the bottle did not contain a poison that would act through ingestion. But that doesn't rule out curare. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Actually, does it say in there? Yeah, it says rod of entry. It's only true a wound, not true. Yeah, only true a wound, not true ingestion. So this doesn't prove anything. I'd throw your research results back in your face. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Ah, yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Oh. I didn't think of that. Yeah, I was thinking, okay, so they had to inflict a wound somewhere else. But he had an open wound in his mouth. Right. Right. Man, I wasn't even thinking about that. Ah, yes, dear lady. We are most gratified of all the assistance you have given. Despair. Yeah, I didn't know the solution, but you guys kind of brought it up to me. I was thinking Wilder. I was thinking they were gonna like have to explain that she wounded him somehow. But no, yeah, he had a wound in his mouth already. I guess that's the solution. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this is a Far Eastern charade. Will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle. Doesn't there? But it can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Rinosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water contains poison. The culprit did put curare poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Objection!
Fool, are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume the supposedly poisoned water unscathed? The results! The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. No? After all... We don't speak English! The reporters are the gibberish! Wow, he's reaching. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule this court, Your Excellency! I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. He will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. He did. Man is reaching. Yeah. Alright. Special characteristics, I believe, just to double check. Yep. The second section. We've been hearing a lot about this Kirari poison, and it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years, to lace the heads with the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please! But, if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? I mean, you can cook poison out of a meal. So, I mean, I get what he's trying to say. And yeah, we did just look up the Wikipedia page for it, yeah. It's being long-winded, because there are other hunting poisons that you use that do leave the meat tainted, but you can cook it thoroughly enough to remove the poison. But yes, Kirari tainted meat can be eaten safely, regardless of whether you cook it or not. But anyways, yeah. That's just me because I read the Wikipedia page because I was curious. Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Counsel. No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to the conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Kirari enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Kirari's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Honk! Repscallion! Oh, she's finally got a damage animation. Honk! Well, Runosuke, it turns out. You're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
Oh, all this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy is a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, Kirari is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric suckers. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah! That's right. Good gracious! That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? Yeah, it's long. It's a little long-winded, but you know, it's fair. They're being thorough with the explanations. Also, we haven't dealt with the question of the gunshot wound, you know, because he was clearly shot. Even if he was already dead at that point, he was clearly shot, so... Order? Order in court, order. The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest? Yes, this curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Honk. What is this, welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey and point my finger.
Objection!
Igiari! That was a little wimpy. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How? How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence, as we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare? He had an open wound in his mouth. That's why Fugu is dangerous as well. Right? I mean, Fugu's dangerous even when ingested. Never mind. I'm talking out my ass. Sorry.
Take that!
As Miss Brett readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the Professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. Fugu's a tetrodotoxin, right? It's also like a muscle inhibitor, right? It blocks the receptors for signals. A fatal difference. The toxic effects of curare only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. He stole the bottle. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. Wait, what? I don't get it. What is she trying to hide? Is she trying to hide the, like... it's the idea that you can't test the bottle for curare anymore? Is that why she's trying to break it? Because you realize you can still test it off of the broken pieces of glass, right? If there's residue in the bottle, there'll still be residue on the glass pieces. We're gonna treat it as if though the entire bottle's atomized. Is that what we're doing? Okay, sure. No! What is it? What just happened? It's the Englishwoman. She just smashed that bottle. And in the Supreme Court, what a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from the broken bottle as possible, at once. Oh, okay. They're just trying to, like... They're testing it for the water? Fine. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. I mean, there's still residue on the glass, but whatever. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. Ha 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 ha. How could you? You won't get away with this! You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle, or not. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. The gunshot wound, yeah? That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
Wait. The body could have been moved, that's hardly foolproof. Like, she's reaching as well now. I mean, in the first place, why would he be sitting away? Like, he's sitting where she would have sat, because that's where the stake there. Yeah, the stake was there, she was sitting there. So the body was clearly moved. I guess we're gonna have to prove that, right? No, you killed the victim that day using Kirari. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Okay, yeah, alright. So we are going with the idea that there is a second firearm. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see? You had every opportunity to commit this crime. Hehehe. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly! And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We've had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke, yes? You've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. It's Kazuma, right? Oh. Okay, they withheld this information from us this whole time. But okay, that's what we're using to prove it then. Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? But how are we gonna back this up though? We can't just say like, there was blood on the plate! Unless the crime scene is still... No, they cleaned it up. They cleaned the crime scene already. How are we gonna assert that though? Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Wait, also, the bullet... The bullet didn't penetrate the body, so where'd the blood come from? It's not splatter from when it's shot, so... He must have been facing forward, not backward. Otherwise the blood couldn't have come out that way. I think that's what they're trying to say, so... It's evidence that the body was turned around. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I may have uncovered another clue. Haha. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Rinosuke? Come on then, let's wipe that smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... the blood splatter! It indicates that he was killed facing forward.
Take that!
Facing towards the table. Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day.
Objection!
Wait a minute! Where are you going with this? Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a splattering of blood. What? Yeah, that's sneaky. You can't even see like the outline of it or anything on the in the photo. Oh really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood for the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Ah! Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were. Giselle Brett. I beg your pardon, honk.
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accusers apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
Oh, the inspector's getting in on the action now. The blood of the plate was actually from me. I'm sorry, I coughed it up. This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force have been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving evidence of the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. I'm sorry, I'm the one who contaminated the evidence because I coughed blood all over it. You did what? I took the steak that you have been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all. In the name of justice! In justice we trust! Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it, now! Yeah, he is pretty wacky. Inspector? The court wishes to examine the plate for the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir! Oh wow, they have a 3D model of it. That's nice. Sorry for the delay. Here is what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't! Quickly, Inspector. The blood, man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No, no blood. Did it dry up already? No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! Wow, this is... yeah, there are a lot of twists and turns so far. Yeah, if it even dried up, there will be a mark, so... But there's 2 bites out of that steak. No, that is the same steak. Hang on. Let me think about this. Well, we can't see the steak from here. So that might be a whole steak instead of a half, instead of a steak with some bites taken out of it. That's the best I got so far. The steak, I guess the two photos may not be the same. Yeah, that's all I got. Let's see. I know I saw it, I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. Who else had a steak that day? Ryunosuke? Did he have a steak? I don't know what anyone else in the... Don't know what anyone else in the place was eating. Oh, wait, no. The soldier guy. Yes sir, no sir. Treeback's fool was having a steak. So this is the... that was the other table. Yeah, he took a picture of the other table. Either by mistake or intentionally. Probably. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. What is a steak though? This feels like 1-3 again, you know, everyone at the Steel Samurai Studios having steaks and eating them. But they're not becoming an expression, little boy. Honk. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Ugh. Yeah, the number of twists and turns this case has is like a... It's like comparatively compared to like a later game case, honestly. I couldn't agree more in the case of this disgrace to the Empire. I believe we finally have reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. Let's pretend the attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Yeah, this is like the 5th time that Ryunosuke's gone into despair. Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. What's the plate I saw? Or thought I saw? Just a figment of my imagination? I don't know, let's look at it. This is making me hungry for hot plate. I'm hungry for hot plate now. There's emblem on the side of the plate. Is it a cat? It's a cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beefsteak. It seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware. So this is the symbol of La Carnival, is it? Ah. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it? I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a Hoei Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but never heard of bullion and bullion. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... Indeed. This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. I just realized as well, this pose that Kazuma does here is very similar to Mia's pose as well. Yeah, I come back to this, yeah. Yeah, this is like Mia's pose as well, right? From the first game, where she's looking at right. Yeah, Kazuma's doing a lot of the mental stuff. Although now that I think about it, He wasn't really in the advertising. Is he going to pull a Mia? Is he going to die? Is he gonna be the victim of case 2? It's possible. I mean, I wouldn't say for sure. It's not like they always do that, but now I'm thinking about it. Zombie rising from the dead. Believing myself, really. Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself, which I did. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? That Bloodstein was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? I found one! There's a coin! Your Excellency, please wait! This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
Objection!
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As merely a former ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is the new clue to be found? If you beat the meat, you'll find out. Oh. The dialogue just plays again. Okay. I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei era too, that will make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated in the juices as well, look. What, are you thinking of eating it? No, but the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. A coupon coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation. Oh, we gotta present it. Okay.
Got it!
Good gracious, that's... Koban? What on earth? The Hoei era wanted that. Miss Brett. This is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me. Why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? Honk. What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin underneath the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hoei koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel. A rare Hoei koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
Objection!
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway. True. You're not really offering much up there, Ryunosuke-san. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the only one on trial here? The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what's it doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... Alright, this page got updated. Army Sergeant. Yep, the old man.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasute, Kirio Korekuta-san. Kiri, as in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. They're making fun of it. Chat, they're self-aware. Oh no. Although Miss Jezebel here can't really... Miss Jezebel can't really talk here, can she? Yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. Gunshot interested me not. No. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Holy Era Koban, my prized coin. And this Holy Era Koban, do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
No, please, why would Korekuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korekuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. Is there gonna be 4 people on the stand now, or they're just swapping it out? I can't believe we come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this koban, we'll find that it's a key element in this case. Oh wow, they really do have 4 people on the stand at once. They're really upping the ante, huh? What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for little baby Idol? But my son's belly is empty. He's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom, myself, I became a ruined man in a trice. A worthless, withered antique. Nothing more I have to say. The sun has set on this Resute's shop's owner's existence. Be that as it may, Korekuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this koban be... What? Yes, that's it. The one. The very one. The very exact one that it is. The splendiferous holy treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. I found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwich? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means... somebody must have hidden it there, on purpose. Somebody concealed my holy treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who could do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing! Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. La Caneva was a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. I'm mixing up the voices, I'm doing too many. He wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, I take it, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flesh out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hit the Kurikuta-san's Koban is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense view on this matter. Tell us, who was the despicable scoundrel that stole Kurikuta-san's Koban and hid it under the stake? It's the military man. He did it.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Iesanosa. What? How? How dare you? You monster! Monster? I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of Larkanevo, am I? You seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido was the mastermind behind all this. Okay, the fact that we've got 2 crimes going on is already really insane for a first case, but secondly, what? Is he the sticky fingers? Or is he just like, I gotta feed my baby, man? Is that what he's saying? You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby. It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. Wait, he's about to have a breakdown? Ah! Oh, he's a horse. Ah! Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Iesanosa, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Well, we have a breakdown. Wait, though. Hang on, you're not the murderer! What were we doing again? Oh yeah, murder case. This is an elaborate case, man. Do any of you know of the extraordinary low wages of the Nippon Imperial Army pays those that expect to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. And I have heard it's hard for the lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant. The place is healing with money. Every 3 days, I'd go there and do a reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his Koban. Yes. He wasn't easy, Mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. Ah, a veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave for the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Ido too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double. I slipped it underneath the stake, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Four people at the table though. That's pretty crazy. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency? Indeed. The theft of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. Dogeza. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? Well... Oof. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. It's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness testimony has been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. I'm good, Play. Honk. Question mark? Rinosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. Did we just get sidetracked? Why were... yeah. What were we doing again? Oh, right, murder case. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking, make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Hold it! Wait, Miss Brett! What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Rinosuke? The way you eat your steak, I guess? Yeah. Because the steak clearly has bite marks out of it. So that's not her steak. That plate is not her plate. Yes, I'm right. But she said they exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, Counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where's the evidence to prove it? So it was the same... yeah, I think the steak was moved.
Take that!
The photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred. What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency. The steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs! Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Noticed what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did! She's a refined English gentlewoman herself! And take a good look at the steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks here. There. Ah! Ooh. Ah! It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and couldn't help her. Oh, she's sweating. We've got her on the ropes now. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course, of course. This will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave anything to... Okay. I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Of course. Dear lady! What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have you ruffled your feathers? Get it? Because you're a bird. Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Rinosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes, now at last it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the blood stain I saw somehow seemed to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? To be honest, way too many. They keep throwing that term around. Anytime evidence is decisive, it usually isn't. You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase. Try typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
Objection!
This is absurd! The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward. There can't be! I don't believe you have it!
Objection!
I don't, but there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair? Are they talking about the cup in the purse? Although I'm not sure how that would help. Let me think about this one. As I get more water. Give me a sec, chat. Alright, chat. Whoa. I floated for a second. Sorry. I actually burned through my entire bottle of water already, because there's a lot of dialogue. So I had to get more. Don't mind me though. Alright, so. Who possesses the conclusive evidence? I'm guessing they're talking about the glass.
Take that!
Yeah. Council, I'm disappointed, as this is likely your last chance. I would have expected you to be taking it more seriously. Okay, they're not talking about the glass, fair enough. Of course, like, you know, she took evidence from the scene. I don't know if this is still supposed to play into anything here. But if not, then I guess not. Alright. That's fine. We're near the end. Taking penalties here, it's alright. One person in particular has provided us with various pieces of evidence. Ah, okay. So we're just gonna ask the other... We're just gonna ask the detective. Hey detective, do you have the other plate? Why not just bring everything related to the case here?
Take that!
Detective. The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it. Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. You didn't present both at the same time just to drag us out. Heh. True. Everyone's attention is focused on the stake of the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Kurikuta's son's coin, he told us he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Attention! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense! That plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of a steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly! Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over. Oh, the sergeant did it. That's what they're trying to say. I thought they were implying that, like, she did it to clean up the case. Well, I guess because we weren't exactly sure exactly how much time everyone had to move around as soon as the gunshot happened. I keep thinking that, like, you know, they're securing the scene, they're escorting the lady out. That means they have plenty of time to tamper with the crime scene under orders from, like, the government or whatever to, like, cover it up and stuff. But I guess what they were trying to say this whole time with this case is that the moment Hosonaga came out of the kitchen, everything is left as is. For the most part. So if anyone else switch things around or move things, it had to be really quick. You did switch the plates. Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stick and hit the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. And nobody touches my meat, okay? I don't want no police looking at my meat. It's not proper. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my stake to one of the foreign ladies' table. What? You can't have! I never saw you do such a thing! It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable! However, fear not, Prosecutor Son. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, the Sergeant knows to switch the plates over. It means he took Miss Brett's steak, and the plate it was on, back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah! Oh, that's a new damage animation again. That's correct. She really does look like a painting. They did a good job with this, like, with the modeling and, like, framing of the character model. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually at the victim's table, at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What could that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold stab of tough meat, it can't have the slightest bearing on this case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. I beg your pardon. Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Things he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. Oh, so okay, that was the other plate of steak that we were seeing there, so it was completely just not that. So there wouldn't have been a blood on it. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. I'm sorry, I coughed up blood all over it. It's contaminated now. Yes, sir! Yeah, I can already see from here. Sorry for keeping you. Here is the other steak in its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. The blood stain. It's clearly visible, look!
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table, with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. Ah! It can't be! In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! Honk. Honk. Outdone by a Japanese. Me. By a Japanese schoolboy. No. No. No! Honk. Oh, honk. Here comes a terrible goose. Dropping chicks. Oh, that's a black one. Oh, perfect. Now there's chicks everywhere. That's great. And the one black one on the other side. Okay, that was a great payoff. Honk. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth, this time. Yeah, no, how about I just get extradited back to Britain, How about that? Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life, using curare. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison will be found in his water, because curare is unheard of here in Japan. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However... Oh wow, she tried to assassinate him hitman style, like literally. There's something like a... There's like something like a hitman. Yeah, there's something like a hitman would do. That's funny. Before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. There would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right. There were two guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. A place where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point, he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor in his chair around. Yes, the body was moved. Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. No, I'm pretty sure that's a felony. Your Excellency. Yes? I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. Excuse me? She's not gonna be arrested? No, I guess she is gonna get arrested, but she's talking to the judge. And then what? She's gonna get extradited back to Britain? Maybe. It would seem. This trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. This can't be! Taketsuchi Aochi does not lose! Not to the likes of this rookie student! You better start getting used to tough opposition. Ah! Rinosuke Naruhodo! What? Yes? This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten. You've become conceited of age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Why is he Virgil? Why is he doing the Virgil pose? Holy shit, he judgment cuts him! Power is everything. 1,000 millennia may pass, and still, the Aochi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, that much is true. I'm going to let that case of assault slide because even though it happened in front of me, this trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Rinosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Sogi. Yes? After this trial, you are set to embark on the journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. As for you, Rinosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes. In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Rinosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Cherry blossoms. Da, 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 da. This court is now adjourned. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Rinosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha 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 ha. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. I was going to say. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. He worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do any... Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Speaking of Mikotoba. Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you, after all. Your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yumi University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson. Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? If you want it, then you'll have to take it. Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. And cuts down anything that's in my way. Oh, he is Virgil. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? The Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Ah, I was right. She was getting extradited. Gazelle Bread will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosonaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then, who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear a case, somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. I mean, yeah, that is something that happens in real life, right? Sometimes. If the country... If a foreigner commits a crime on like a foreign soil, and the home country cares enough about it, they can choose to yeah, they can pull that person back for the most part. But you know, they don't. Well, it's usually reserved for diplomats, right? It's usually that's a diplomatic immunity thing. They usually reserve it for diplomats. But you know, if they if they just let them run free back in their home country as well, that's going to be like it's going to be national. There's going to be political fallout for it, obviously. So usually people, even if they do if they don't let like people be extradited for trial, they'll try them themselves. And usually, where the cases get more tricky is when one place has a death penalty for a crime and the other place doesn't have it. That's usually when like cases like this happen. This one is pretty obviously just a reach of power. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments. They can't invoke a consular court just like that. Yeah, there you go. He brought it up. It is irregular. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't just justify our government making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. She's not what she seems, maybe. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. She's got diplomatic immunity of some kind, then. I'm afraid they're for the young student. Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. Oh, that's why you guys are saying like it's like Dahlia, because she doesn't actually get brought to justice here, huh? The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor... You're right, this is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Rinosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosanada-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. La Carnival's food is second to none. And we are just not going to address the fact that this man has tuberculosis. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh yes, thank you. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma. Yes, Renosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin today. Ha 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 ha. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something's kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me! All that tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point? The finger point. That's what you did. Therefore, you are destined to be a lawyer. Listen, Rinosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No, it's the pointer finger. In the future, there will be university courses about the exact angle and direction of where you need to point things at. No, the ability to believe. Well, there it is. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. Cheeky. Cheeky game, very cheeky. Because in the future, every single lawyer somehow apparently has that ability, in some way or other. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, You face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Rinosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Susato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. Oh, that was a really good first case, yeah. Yeah, that was legitimately probably one of the best openings. Yeah. One of the best openings to an Ace Attorney game. Is that a hot take? Is this case the best first case in the franchise? It is very long. They let it have a lot of time to itself, so it might be a bit unfair, but well, they definitely put a lot of effort into it. You know, they pulled a lot of they did a lot of work with it. Alright, that was fun. Definitely looking forward to playing more of this. So yeah, we'll be back soon enough with episode 2 of The Great Ace Attorney.